Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on my planning journey and my random DIY things and stuff that I like to review and look into, all things planner related or at least papercraft related. And you're looking at something that is definitely not really part of the title. This is just a little DIY that I did because I actually started off looking for a thin paper that I could use instead of the Tomoe River paper. And then the 5-year Techo thing came after that. But first I did this. This is actually just a fun little thing that I tried. This is parchment paper, as it says over here, real parchment notes. Didn't quite work. Not for baking, but also not for writing, because as you'll see, aside from the fact that this is super thin paper, obviously that is not really meant for writing on. You can't read what you've written once you've written on it. So this is a little bit of ballpoint ink here. Then I tried some green ink pens and some fountain pen. Those didn't show up at all because, of course, the paper has been treated to be like anti-stick, and that means nothing sticks to it except for pencil. Pencil worked all right, and that also worked so well that once you've written on pencil on both sides of the paper, you can't read what you've written because it's so dark. But yeah, this is just for fun and because I like the sound that the paper makes. It has that sound that I'm fond of. Like that. But it's just for funsies. So I could definitely see somebody using this as something for a junk journal, like right on one side, and you have, it's almost like vellum paper in that sense. You could just kind of play around with that and put some other stuff in there for a little fun project. Initially, it would not lay flat because I got it off of a roll with baking paper. But then I put it in this cover and put this entire thing in the microwave for about a minute and then put it on something big and flat so it would like cool down in this position. And now it's okay. So now I can actually turn the pages without having to like constantly fold everything back. So that's just a little aside. That's my little crafting project that I just wanted to share with you because it was just kind of funny. And I didn't want to make it and then not show it to you. But okay, so now on to the actual topic. So we all know it's, at least if you've been following Hobonichi, you know it's the 5-year Techo planner, basically a really thick version of the cousin days, and it has 5 slots per day, one for a certain year, and for 5 years in total, obviously. So that would be a very thick book, which is already kind of expensive, but one of the main gripes I have with this book is that the idea of keeping a 5-year journal sounds good, but I know that in practice I'm not actually going to remember to write in it every day, and since it's already pre-labeled with a certain year, I'd have to either relabel it every time that I miss a year, or I would just have to leave certain spots blank because I just didn't journal on the 23rd of March of 2024 or whatever, which is still a day in the future at this point, but just saying, like as an example. And then you would end up with a really thick, rather expensive planner book that just has gaps in it. And I think that's kind of annoying, so I didn't want to do that. So I wanted to go for cheaper alternatives and with the same type of paper. That did end up being one of the qualifying things because there are plenty of other 5-year things out there that you could possibly get as an alternative, but I wanted one that was reasonably similar to the Tomoe River paper, if not Tomoe River paper, and undated, and they don't have one of those, at least not as far as I'm aware. If they do, then I just don't remember seeing that. But I also just wanted it to be a little cheaper than the actual 5-year Techo. So first of all, I'm going to start with the most expensive option and then go to cheaper ones after that. So we're starting off with, of course, the most expensive option that you could then take, or the route that you could take, and that would be a regular cousin. But then you make it into a 5-year by taking those day section pages and putting 4 lines in it, so you have 5 sections to write stuff in for a year. I got this cover because this is, by the way, a different cousin than the one that I had before. So I got this cover because I figure I'm going to be using this for at least 5 years, so I want to have it reasonably protected, and I really like this cream soda color cover. Initially I had ordered a gingham cover, but it was in the wrong size. So I had an A6 cover all of a sudden that I couldn't use because obviously the cousin's not going to fit in there. But okay, so that's just the cover thing. So Let's see if I have the right page on. Nope, this is not the right page. I'm going to go to this page. Yeah, right here. So this is where I am right now, because of course today it is still February. So what I've been doing is I've just been putting lines on the pages themselves. And we're just going to write on each of these little sections. I'm going to put the year over here myself, and then that's just how I'm going to do it for the next 5 years. I've decided not to bother with the day names over here. I kind of just want to leave them as is, just because I don't feel like removing it, and I think that this is actually quite pleasing to look at, like the little kanji symbols. And this is the Japanese version, the April start one, so it's still kind of relevant at the moment. Well, it will remain relevant, of course, for the next 5 years, because I'm going to be using it for the next 5 years, but it's undated, so I can just keep that as is and just put the years there myself. Now, say that next year I forget to write something on the 23rd of February. I could just either backdate it or leave it, and then next year I can just put the 2026 version here, and then this will be 2027, 2028, 2029. So we could see a discrepancy in the years per day, which might also be interesting. And then eventually you might have a couple of days left, like say that you have the 17th of September that you keep skipping for whatever reason, and then now you're like, this year I'm going to fill it, like a challenge to get all the days filled. Yeah, and then it might last you quite a long time, and there will be no gaps at the end. That's basically it. And of course, since it is a Tomoe River paper, eventually if you have everything written on from top to bottom, it's going to be very nice to page through, because it'll be very crinkly, etc. I haven't actually lined all the pages yet. I just wanted to get the section where we are currently at, that part of the year, done. And of course, since this is an April start, we are currently in the back of the book right there. And then once we're done with that section, I'm going to go to January, or no, not January, April, and go ahead and put the lines there. If I could turn the page a little bit. Oh, that's exactly where we were. So then I'm going to start putting lines here, and we're just going to continue with that until the entire thing is full. These lines, by the way, I am putting those on with a homemade stencil, which I have to grab from another thing that I was working on. If I have it here, where is it? Oh yeah, here it is. So this is one of those large photos that I also used for the other booklet that I showed a while back. I just drew a couple of lines on it. I know it's not quite even at the top and the bottom, or actually the sections isn't even really even, but that's okay, because imperfection is something that I think I can appreciate. And some years I won't have to write as much as others because there isn't quite that much space. So I just made this, cut some slits in it, and then I just put it on the paper, and then just pin it down, and then I can very easily put some lines down, and then it'll be reasonably evenly spaced, and I don't have to move my ruler around the entire time to try and get lines that way. So that is what I'm using for a stencil. All right, so this is the most expensive version that you could get as a 5-year Techo replacement with Tomoe River paper, just another cousin that you then manually turn into a 5-year planner, which will then of course be undated, or as dated as you like. Obviously it's very flexible. I have to get used to this butterfly closing thing, and they're still a little stiff, these things. So I've only just unwrapped this cover today because it arrived in the mail today, and I'm very happy with it. It looks very cute and everything, but that's just the cover thing. All right, so that's one thing you could be doing. Now the next thing you could be doing is, if you don't want to buy the cousin, you could buy yourself a regular notebook. They come in different colors. There's also one with a botanical thing, another one with a bunch of cats on it, but I just got the very plain. This is A5 because I just prefer A5 to A6 size, or the A4 ones. I don't think they have A4s. So I just got one of these. I haven't actually put any lines in it yet, because of course currently I already have a few 5-year planner things laying around now, because I've been working up to making this video. But this is also an option. Just get one of these notebooks. There's plenty of pages in here. You only really need 365 size, and I think this one has 240 pages, so that's plenty, I believe, because you have to put it like that's 365 divided by 2. what is that, like 183 pages, 182 and a half pages, I don't know, something, but that's enough size anyway. So you'll be able to fill like 3/4 of this with the days, and then you have a little bit of space in the back for notes if you want it. And then you can make your own if you like DIYing, and something a little cheaper than the actual cousin, because this one, I got this one at a web shop that's just in the Netherlands, and it cost me 15 euros, I think, for one of these. Pretty sure it was around that price. So still a reasonably expensive notebook, but compared to the cousin, definitely a lot cheaper. That's an option. Now, I said I was going to go in order of price, but I'm going to actually skip ahead to a different one and then show you my favorite one at the end, or at least the favorite alternative. So the next one that I have is this. This is just a cover that I got secondhand for 10 cents, just a plastic cover for a regular notebook or exercise book. And then inside here, I have a booklet that I made with printer paper, or at least sheets of Tomoe River paper that I just glued together very shoddily. It also says here, kind of shoddy 5-year DIY Techo, and it's still blank. This crafting paper is way stiffer than the Tomoe River paper, so it's kind of difficult to get it to cooperate. But here, the same thing applies. You just put the date at the top, and then you got some lines here. This is the same one from before. I didn't line all of it yet. Actually, I stopped somewhere halfway through January. Yeah, 13th, because I was so tired of putting lines down for now that I just stopped over there, because I'm also using other ones. So I'm actually making this one and not using it yet, and then I'll just put it in the bookcase so once I'm done with it, and then if I ever feel the need to either start another 5-year Techo, or I fill the previous one, that I already have another one laying around in case I'm so addicted to doing this every day that I want to start immediately. So this is an option. I didn't do this one quite well, like I said, but this was a pack of 100 sheets, and I took half of those to make this little booklet. So we're going to be able to make another one, and hopefully that one will not be glued as badly as this one. Also, this is just a piece of paper cardboard that I am using to make sure it doesn't keep jumping out of this thing, which it does do still, but okay, fine. It's an option. If you're much better at making booklets, then you can make a much better booklet out of it than I did with the Tomoe River paper, just loose sheets, and stick them together and make your own little planner here with that, and then still have the fun of writing on Tomoe River paper without having to spend an enormous amount of money on the 5-year Techo. So that's option number 3. And now the last one is actually not Tomoe River paper, but it is very thin. And no, it's not parchment paper. This, I don't know if you're going to be able to get this on Amazon.com. I was not able to find it, but I was able to find it on Amazon.nl, which is the Dutch version of Amazon. And this is the, at least it's called Milimetrado 500 pages. I saw on Amazon.com there's plenty of stuff on there called Milimetrado, but it's not this. You really need this combination of Milimetrado and 500 pages, because this is very thin, like Bible paper type stuff, and the cover is kind of hard. It's not real leather. Imitation leather. I don't know exactly what material it is, but it's not real leather. And the fun thing about this booklet is that it has page numbers. I've already started writing in it, as you can see, same system, but it has page numbers down here, and every few page numbers there is a little bit of text about that number. So this one says the seas covering our planet. So there's apparently 57 seas covering our planet. So that is printed at the bottom of page 57. And let's see if I can find another one real quick. Anything else of interest? Not every page has it, as you can see. And with 139 over here, it says meters is the height of the Great Pyramid of Giza. So that one's 139 meters tall. That type of thing. So it does that. If other than that's completely blank, you can do with it what you like. 500 chapters of the Ramayana, apparently also a thing. The sides are golden, as you can see. It looks very nice. And at the start we have like a little index system, so you can also use it as a bullet journal. Here you go, page number idea, content index for 500 pages, some more of that. and then it just gets started. And at the start I made a little pen test and a little test here with some stamps. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's not quite the same sound, but it's still fairly pleasing. And the the ballpoint pen works really well on it. The fountain pen writes fairly well on it as well. It does have a little bit of ghosting. You can see some of the spots there that do come through, so it's not quite as bleed proof as the Tomoe River paper. And of course stamps do come through, but then that also happens with the Tomoe River paper, so that's not a big surprise. Also, I had some really nice wooden stamps down there. You see those, like these guys? This is one stamp, and I have these different stamp pads in different colors that I'm trying to use the bigger stamps on, and I thought that looked really nice. Anyway, so this is a still really thin paper, just not quite the Tomoe River paper. So I'm thinking Tomoe River paper is 52 grams. This may be 53, 55. I don't know. It's slightly thicker feeling, but very close. And for a decent price. And it's a huge booklet because it's 500 pages, and that means you can put as many planners and as many things in here as you want. Matter of fact, once I'm done marking all of the 365 days of the year in here, there's still going to be a considerable chunk left in the end here that I can then use for other things if I so want it. I could have all sorts of different types of planners and stuff within one booklet. That might be kind of fun, like a true catch-all planner. It comes with one ribbon, which is a little bit unfortunate, but of course you can buy all sorts of tabs or grab a few stickers to make tabs out of it. So you can make a tab for a note section or whatever it is that you want to put back here, and get to that very quickly as well. So that is the milimetrado, and these are all the different things that I have shown as an option. There you go. So if you don't want to spend an arm and a leg on the 5-year Techo planner of Hobonichi, then there are options for you. Obviously, if you're not super interested in the Tomoe River paper, obviously you can just grab any type of notebook that is blank and reasonably priced, that has a paper you like and has enough pages for you to put 1 page per year in there. And then definitely go for that. I just focused specifically on thin paper, so this is what I ended up with. Now, obviously, this whole collection over here cost me way more than just a 5-year Techo. So ultimately, I didn't save any money. Well, in the long run, I did, because of course I'm going to be able to use these for many years to come. But you know, if I really wanted to compare it to the base price of the Techo and all of this together, the Techo will win out. But it will still be dated, and that's one of the things, like I said at the start, that I didn't really like. So I think this is, for me in any case, better alternatives than the 5-year dated Hobonichi Techo. So that was my little foray into Tomoe River paper madness with the minimum length of 5 years. I hope you found that interesting. Make sure to leave a comment. That really helps the channel along. I really want to know what you guys are thinking about my videos. I haven't actually had much people commenting so far. I'd just like to know what you think about them. If there's anything that you'd like to see me do, make sure to let me know that as well. And you can also just drop me a like. That also helps me figure out what it is that people like to see. I hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.